in the Houston metro area, and today we are spotlighting one veteran who was part of a spy agency that eventually became the CIA. Now, a Houston World War II veteran is talking about his secret mission. Jason Miles live from the World War II Memorial in the Heights with more on this. Jason, sounds like this vet has quite the story.
Definitely, and he is still around to tell it. I must mention this cold front just came upon us within the last couple of minutes. Seriously, getting a lot colder, and the rain has started to fall. But unlike so many other World War II veterans who are memorialized here, this guy, as I mentioned, still around to tell his very interesting story. Take a look. We caught up with former Navy Ensign George McCullough out at a West Houston senior living facility called the Buckingham. He told a veterans group there about his service in the OSS during the Second World War. That stands for Office of Strategic Services and was kind of a predecessor to the CIA. McCullough, who is now 94, was just 19 when the OSS recruited him to pilot a three-man semi-submersible spy boat. The secret mission was to gather intelligence along the Japanese coast with the help of trained Korean Americans and former POWs.
We would be on a large American submarine, and it would pick us up and put us in the water, and we would take the boat into the Japanese coast.
McCullough says the mission was never completed thanks to the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which of course led to Japan's surrender. That's something he regretted, that is, not accomplishing the mission, although McCullough and his colleagues were glad to see the war come to an end. McCullough later had a 4-decade-long career with ExxonMobil here in Houston, happily retired now and still telling his stories, and you'll hear more about his secret mission coming up at 5 o'clock. For now, we'll send it back to you, Reka.
That's a pretty incredible story, Jason, and we thank Mr. McCullough for his service.